Bodhida, good morning. Namaste. Kroso, welcome. I'm Linda Premanandi. I'm a yoga teacher and trainee yoga therapist. And this is my 14th Sunday of sharing practices under the banner Sharing is Caring Sunday. So if you know somebody who would like to share these practices that you think could benefit or may just want to observe the practices, then please share the link. I always upload the link to YouTube afterwards, so if you can't practice with me live, you can perhaps practice with me on the recording. So today we are going to start at the very beginning in terms of the breath. You may not be able to sit as I am sitting in Vajrasana, which is thunderbolt pose, where I'm sitting back on my heels, my knees are together, my heels are together, my spine is rising up in an erect way. That may not be possible for you, but it might be possible for you. You may need some help under the knees with blocks or cushion. This may be comfortable, or something under the feet if the extension of the instep is the thing that gives you problems. Or you may sit on a chair, and I will show you how to sit on the chair for the practice of learning deep conscious breath. I'll put it on the side so you can see. So you need an upright chair, not an armchair. You need to be able to touch the floor with the feet. The feet are at hip distance, my ankles are directly under my knees, my hips are directly behind my knees. So I'm not sitting back and I'm not leaning forward. No arms is a good thing. And you're just sitting dead on your sit bones, really dead center on your sit bones. And you're allowing the spine some freedom to rise up. The collarbones can be wide, the chest is open, and the hands can be gently on your thighs. So there is no reason why you can't learn this method of deep, conscious, mindful breathing from a chair. It just depends on your physical needs. Sorry, as I stand, you're not seeing my head. I angled the camera to come down onto me in a sitting position. So, you may think, well, I can already breathe, I'm alive, aren't I? What can you teach me? Which is quite true. If you are listening to me and watching the transmission, I'm guessing you are well alive and you are breathing. But there's a very big difference between the breath that comes from our survival mode, where we breathe through our sleep, we breathe without thinking, we breathe unconsciously, which is the activity of the survival of the brain stem, and the activity of the prefrontal cortex, which is the place where we make choices and decisions, and where we can tap into deep conscious breathing. Now, this session is not about the science of that particularly, although I may highlight some benefits. This is a really, because we only have up to an hour, an introduction of how we can get in touch and learn how to breathe in a deep and mindful way, which brings lots of benefits. It brings lots of physical benefits. It can also bring nice psychological, emotional benefits, and can help with all sorts of issues. Wonderful for lots of things. And I will, on the YouTube link that I put up, I will list some of those benefits. But I mean, it's never ending. One of my teachers, Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani, who is leading the Yoga Step-by-Step course this year, which normally happens as a correspondence course, he's leading it online, says if you want to change your life, change the way you breathe. It can have such an impact when we breathe slowly, deeply, mindfully. we look at babies and we see, you know, when they're lying in their cot, whatever, that the abdomen expands and contracts as they breathe. And this is a natural way for them to breathe. And we lose a lot of things. You know, you see toddlers squatting deeply down without thinking of hip flexors and knees. They just plop down. And as adults, particularly in the Western world, we lose a lot of these natural abilities. And abdominal breathing is one of the things we do lose. I know that, you know, as a young woman, if I was wearing skinny tight jeans, you know, I wanted to have a nice flat belly. And I would, when I was going past somebody on a desk, I would breathe in, would be pull the belly in, really pull the belly in, you know, and that was breathing into me. Where actually when you breathe in, you want not the belly, because you don't breathe into your belly, but you want your lungs to expand, the lower lobes of the lungs, the mid and the upper. And of course that does cause the abdomen to rise up. And when we breathe out, the abdomen falls back as the diaphragm rises and falls accordingly. Everything is connected. The diaphragm movement actually touches our heart, massaging it. It's a wonderful phenomenon, but as I say, I'm not going to go into lots of the science today. I will be building on this, so if you're interested, we can revisit it. So we find in the West that men are poor mid-lobe breathers. They are quite poor at breathing in deeply into the chest. They're a little better than women at the abdomen. Women poor abdomen breathers. You know, as I say, we kind of hold ourselves in. And maybe we do that on the in-breath to make sure we have a nice flat belly. With the practice we're doing today, I want us to learn how to get into the three sections, the three lobes of the lungs. And this in the Gitananda tradition is called Vibhagha, sectional breathing or lobular breathing. So we are going to use the hands, the palms of the hands, in what is called a sparsha mudra. Mudras can be hand gestures, but they also can be body gestures. For the purpose of this practice, we're using sparsha mudra. And we're going to think of the fingers being close together, not open like this. They're going to be close together, but without tension. And we're going to be placing them in different parts of the body that are obviously linked to the lungs in terms of lower lobes, mid and upper. Now we have two lungs. Well, some of us may not have two lungs, but normally we have two lungs. There are three lobes. Obviously on the left, the bottom, for those of you who understand your anatomy, the bottom and the top also do the job of the mid-lobe because you have the heart there. But for the purpose of the practice, we're going to consider that we have three sections in both lungs so that our mind breathes into those separate sections without getting confused about the, you know, anatomical vision of two lobes and three. Okay? So we're going to start with the lower lobes. Now the lower lobes, if you feel just where your ribs are, if you know, I might have to dig deep, sometimes we have to. You just feel along the ridge of the bottom of the lobes. Just feel there, get in touch with it, okay? Then see if you can feel into the sides. You know, obviously the ribs are a little higher up in the front. And then I know it's difficult sometimes to put your hands back, but just explore where the lower ribs end. So these are the parts we're going to be concentrating on. And the lower lobes, they kind of, especially when you're sitting in Vajrasana, and you're concentrating with the hands, the sparsha mudra, these lower lobes, the lower chest, abdominal chest, will be pushing the blood firstly into the lower parts of the body, into the legs. So it can really help with issues from the pelvis down. You know, it can really help to get the blood circulation going and help to avoid things like varicose veins and all those kinds of things. So it goes to the legs first, before it comes up to the heart and the arms, and then up to the head, the brain, the face. This is your lower lobe breathing. So let's just wake up a little bit. So if you have been sitting back like this, you can come up onto your knees, or you might want to stand if you're on a chair. Take your choice, and we're just going to shake out the arms, shake out the wrists, just shake it out, shake out the elbows, maybe do some nice circles, make sure you haven't got anything all around you, not going to hit anything, just a few shrugs of the shoulders. Breathe in, drop it out, breathe in. And maybe you just want to, because we're using the fingers a lot, we just want to rotate the wrists in one way and rotate the wrists the other way. For this practice we are using the hands a lot, so we'll take a break in between each mudra and then see if you can isolate the digits of your fingers, the digits of your hands I mean, and the next one, and go both ways, and just see if you can wake up, creating some space in the joints, and also creating the connection with the mind, the brain, to the fingers, you know, because sometimes our pathways in our brain don't reach the extremities as much as we would like. But when you consider what you can do with your hands to what you can do with your feet, okay, the hands are really an extension of the heart and the brain. They can do lots and lots of things. So we're just going to use the fingertips, okay, gently on the top of the head, just bouncing, just waking up the nervous system, just bringing some energy into the scalp, around the back of the skull, maybe over the ears. Just keep on tapping, waking everything up. And then maybe you can make a fist with the right arm and just tap down. So we don't start our practice of deep breath from a sort of lethargic body. We are opening up, and maybe softly under the armpits, not too much here because there's a lot of lymphatic action. Don't want to disturb anything, you just want to wake things up. And around the top of the chest, we're going to be, if you please make sure you have water, because when you're practicing learning how to do slow, deep, mindful breaths, you will be expiring a lot of water as we breathe deeply. And then do the other side with a loose, limp wrist, just coming all the way down and back up, under the armpits, and just along the chest again, and maybe behind. So if you take the back of the hands and just rub around the back, maybe around the buttocks, maybe you're bending forward a little bit if you're standing, or if you're sitting, along the thighs, just waking up the system. Bring your hands together, breathe in here, and out. Breathing in, and we're breathing in through our nostrils, breathing in, and out. And one more time, breathing in, stretch it up, maybe lift up out of that heavy pelvis, take the ribs away from the pelvis, make some space. Drop the right hand down, maybe a little side bend, so you're giving your ribs a fair chance of opening out and expanding to the front, to the side, and to the back. Nice side bend, breathing in, reach up, look up, welcome your day. Bring your hands to your heart and either come back onto your knees or onto your chair for us to start the practice. Now, the breath is important, obviously, that's our life force, not just keeping our body alive, but that's what it is doing, but also it's the breath on which the prana, the life force, enters in a really important way into the body, what makes us feel alive and alert. So with the practice of the deep breathing, we are trying to really also not just reach the full lobes of the lungs, but increase the energy that we've got, increase the capacity, grow the capacity of the lungs. So that's important in any circumstance and can really help lots of different issues. But in this particular time in our lives, we are all really challenged with coping with the impact of COVID-19, not just on our social structures, our community, our economic structures, but on our physical health and well-being. And this tiny virus, which we can't even see with the naked eye, is really having a huge dramatic impact on the whole world now. And one thing that it seems to affect most is the respiratory system. So by learning to practice deep, conscious breath, we are also helping to keep our lungs strong. We're helping to use them to their fullest and optimum capacity. We are, you know how you, if you don't exercise something, you know, you lose the ability, atrophy sets in. We are becoming more mindful also of taking these long, deep breaths. It can calm us down. It can ease anxiety. It can steady us when we're in a flat spin. You know, I teach pregnancy yoga. I teach a lot of breath work. We all know how the breath can help during those kinds of circumstances. So it is really a good practice, if you've never thought of it before, to experiment with. You know, it may not be for everybody, but it is really, really available to everybody. Even if you're lying in your bed and you're ill, you can practice. One cautionary tale I would say, that if you do suffer with respiratory problems like COPD, or maybe you have asthma, or maybe you are a smoker, or maybe you use a vape, I would just add a cautionary tale there, that when you work very deeply with the lungs, that you might need to ask the advice of the GP first. You certainly would like to consider, may need to consider giving up smoking for a little while before you take on deep breathing. Okay, because that can maybe have an effect of bringing things to the surface that, you know, may not be that pleasant, and maybe you need advice with. So it can help with all these things, but you are responsible for finding out, taking accountability for finding out at what level it is safe for you to practice. Okay, so let's get started. So, taking the hands into Spasha Mudra, which is just closed fingers with flat palm. Okay, we're going to see if we can find the lower ribs. So it's just under my breasts. See, I can feel the ribs. My elbows are spreading out. They're not closed in, and I'm not, you know, trying to hold my shoulders up. You know, I'm softening them down. I'm lengthening the spine. It might help you to close your eyes. The connection with the hands on the part of the body are going to aid your mind into focusing in that area. And we're just going to take 3 long breaths, which will last a count of 6 to come in and 6 to come out. So let's breathe out together. First, nice straight back. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now notice the ribs. Breathing in, the hands should come apart slightly. Breathe in. And breathe out. Fingers together. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now that's just 3. So just drop the hands. Keep the eyes closed. If your position on your knees is uncomfortable, come forward and release the legs for a moment. And come back to your position. So we're going to do another 3. This was just the start, okay? So as you bring your hands along the front here. They can be quite close. They don't need to touch the fingers, but they can be quite close. You need to have the thumb there as well. So don't put the thumb up, put the thumb there so that it all is in the lower lobe area. And soften the shoulders. And as you breathe in, concentrate on how the lungs are coming, you know, how they're expanding within the rib cage. The rib cage is like a basket that holds the lungs safe, and it expands. It expands forward, side and back. So at the moment we are feeling for the kind of forward and maybe upward movement. So close your eyes, soften your shoulders. Let's breathe out together. Don't grasp the breath, let it flow in slowly through the nostrils, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let the abdomen rise, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Notice the ribs, how they expand and contract. And bring your hands down, just keep your eyes closed. Notice the effect it has on the mind. Maybe shake the hands out. If you're sitting on your chair, you might stand, shake your legs out. If you're in Vajrasana, as I am, you might want to just stretch forward, maybe kick the legs out. Just bring the blood back, bring the blood flow back. Maybe you need to wiggle a little, because it takes time to be able to build up sitting in this posture for any great length of time. And if you are in pain, you're not going to be able to concentrate on slow, deep, mindful breath. Okay, so this section of the breath in the Sanskrit is Adam Pranayama, the lower. We're now going to do the side, okay? So again, find your lower ribs. I can find them there. So I'm going to bring my 4 fingers together, and my thumb is coming to the back. And soften the shoulders. Initially, some of these postures, you know, you might feel a little tight. You might not really be able to open up. Just do your best. It's quite important that your shoulders are soft. The chest is open, the spine is long, and the elbows are pointing out as well. So feeling into the side ribs, close your eyes. We're going to do 6 rounds. So feel as though the ribs can really expand to the side. Maybe your mind doesn't usually go there. Putting the hands there will help. Breathe out. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. See if you can push both side ribs out to the same amount. One might be more than the other, you see. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Expand those lower ribs. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Maximum capacity. Breathe out. In through the nostrils, out through the nostrils. Last round. In. Push the ribs out and breathe out. Release your hands because they've been there a while. Maybe rotate the wrists one way and the other. These practices take time. Learning something that you may have been doing in a different way your whole life, unlearning something, learning something new, shake the wrists, takes time. So be patient. A few minutes a day is all you need to make a huge difference. I mean, I can hear the difference in the timbre of my voice now than when I started the class. You know, it's richer, it's deeper, I can hear it. So my breath is coming way down now into my lower lobes. Okay, I'm just going to come forward slightly to release my legs. And you can just flick out the feet if you like to. I'm sitting back on my cushion because I'm teaching and I'm in that position for a long time. You can sit back on a cushion or you can sit back on your heels. I'm going to sit on my heels this time. Whatever is comfortable. So now we're going to think about the lower lobes from the back. So when we breathe, it's front, side, back. We tend to live our lives in the front. Whatever we do, it's always in the front body. We don't consider that we have a side and a back. Okay, so I'm going to just turn my back to you for one moment while I show you where I would like the hands. So, the hands this time, I'm looking for my lower ribs, yes. And of course, I can't put the whole hand there. Well, maybe you can, I can't. So my thumb is in the front, I'm rolling my shoulders up and back, and my fingers more or less should be together. Now that might not be possible for you. You may have tight shoulders, there could be something wrong, you might have tennis elbow or something like that, okay? So if you can't put the flat of the palm there, you can put the back of the hand, and that might be easier. It might be easier for you. If you can do neither, you just try and bring your mind to those lower ribs. Imagine that you are doing that. That will help the mind make the connection. So that when you're breathing in and you want to practice your deep mindful breathing, the mind already has started to make that new neural pathway. We're teaching it to look for something slightly different to the norm. Okay, so let's do the back body. So, sitting up in a comfortable position, whether you're on your chair or whether you're on the floor. Okay. I'm bringing my hands behind, my thumb is sort of on the side. And I'm sitting up straight, I'm opening my shoulders, but I'm softening my shoulders down. I don't want to hold tension in them and go like this. Okay, that's no good. However you can do it. We're just doing 6 breaths. If 6 is too much, because deep mindful breathing can be tiring initially, you just do 3, okay? So feeling into those ribs and the back body, we're trying to expand outwards now. So breathe out first. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in. Thinking about the back body, out. In. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. Last round. Let's really push those lower ribs out. Breathe in. And out. Release the arms. Just be careful because the elbows, the hands have been behind maybe Just shake things out gently, just bringing everything back. The more you practice, the more you'll get used to it, but they're never totally comfortable for me. There's a little bit of effort, so I soften into it. I don't push into it. Maybe you want to stand up and shake your legs if you're seated. Maybe you just want to come forward. Stretch out the leg. Just give it a nice stretch to let the blood flow back. And you can maybe just move your ankles a little bit. And the other side. And come back. So that is part one of the Vibhagha Pranayama, Ardha Pranayama. Okay, Pranayama, prana, energy, life force, yama is a kind of discipline, maybe you could call it. Okay, so that's the lower lungs. So I think we have got time to do mid lungs. I had a lot of explanation to do at the beginning, maybe not so much now. So we're looking at Madhyam Pranayama. So controlling the breath in the mid lobes, okay? So mid lobes is your intercostal breath, okay? Connected to the heart. And you know, men don't breathe that well into this area, okay? They don't breathe that well into this area. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. You might just want to put one hand onto the mid chest here. Yeah, so you know, some people will put two hands just on the chest or on the breast, depending if you're obviously man or woman or whatever. You know, sometimes I will practice like that, but quite often I feel into the mid chest area, and that's what I'm going to do today. My right hand is there and my left hand is on the floor. Not the floor, on my thigh. It's not the floor, it's on my thigh. Sorry about that. So let's just think about the mid chest. As I say, you can put both palms on the chest or on the breast. This is how I'm practicing. Elbow is not down and pinched in. It's, you know, sticking out a little bit, yeah? Making some room. So let's breathe out here. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice the difference. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. Notice where the chest rises. Breathe in. Keep the fingers together. We'll do another 2 rounds. Breathing in. Soften the shoulders, soften the face. Out. Last one in. Last one out. Please drop the hand. Keep the eyes closed. And just notice. You may come forward. Just stretch out if you're on the floor. Just allowing the blood to flow back into the legs, however you're sitting. You may not need to do this. I need to do it, you may not. So take whatever practice is suiting you. You are the individual. I am just the person sharing the practice here. And I've learned everything I know from somebody else, from a few other people. From my teachers, Yogacharya Nandev, Yorichanini Deepika, and of course from the tradition of Gitananda through Dr. Ananda, Balayogi Bhavanani, who is the son of Swami Gitananda in the Gitananda tradition. I'm just sharing. Okay? So let's do the side. So instead of sort of going in awkwardly like this with the fingers pointing up, you just have to find, I mean, for me, I wear a bra, so it's more or less where the side of my bra comes here that I hold, okay? Depending on, so I hold here, and my fingers, my thumbs are pointing towards my armpits slightly, but I'm still trying to keep my fingers together, okay? Not high up like this, just to the sides. So mid, side, chest. So let's try 6 rounds together. Let's breathe out. Remember, you are inflating as you breathe. Spine is long, breathing in. Side ribs expand, breathing out. In. Out. Soften the shoulders, soften the face, keep the spine long and strong. In. Push those side ribs out and breathe out. Let's just do 3 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Two more. In. Push those ribs out. Breathe out. Allow them to contract naturally. You don't have to push them in. Last round here. And breathe out. And place your hands on your thighs and close your eyes and just notice. You can shake out the hands and just be gentle, because when you're using the fingers in a position for a while, they can feel a bit stiff, and you just want to bring them back to life again. You can shake out your elbows, you can shake out your face. Get rid of any tension. There's no point in doing it if you're full of tension. Okay, so now we do the back. So the same as we did the back before. Either you have the flat of the hands in the Spasha Mudra, or the palms rather, or you have the back. Depending on how you go, okay? If that feels impossible, but you can manage the side, you know, maybe you can put the flat of the back just a little bit further, flat of the hands just a little bit further back, yeah? That seems to be okay for me. I'm going to try to bring the fingers a little higher up and roll my shoulders out and back, yeah? Without causing tension in the shoulders or hurting my fingers or anything like that. So sit back down. Okay, let's try 6 rounds, however you are placing your hands. The point of the thing is, it's the upper, well, it's the mid back chest, but it feels higher than you would think. It's behind the breast, so, you know, just where your bra strap might be if you're a woman. And obviously, if you're a man, it's the chest. Just feel up a little bit, but try not to hold tension in the shoulders. So back of the hands is fine. Breathing out. Breathing in. Out. It might be harder to sense something in the back. Breathing in. Out. In. Bring the mind just to the back where the hands are. In. Out. Just 2 more. Try and relax the shoulders. Try not to strain. Breathing in. Out. Breathing in and out. Okay, and again, maybe some wrist rotations in either direction. Maybe you can hold your wrists and do this kind of piston movement, shaking out hands, not allowing any tension. Maybe you press one way, maybe you press the other way, just opening it all out. So that was the mid-chest, the Vibhagha Pranayama. So the last one is the upper, okay, and the upper chest is around the collarbone, the clavicle, really up there. I mean, when I was first told I had lungs all the way up here, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. You know, we think they're down here somewhere. No, but they come all the way up. And maybe we don't get in touch with this part. I think it's this part we feel when we're in a panic quite often. You know, we can feel the breath here. When everything gets a bit tight. So I am going to place my left hand on my thigh, just gently. I'm not opening it up because that could stop the flow. I'm just placing it on my thigh. And my right hand, more or less, yeah, just there at the top. There's a little indentation there. It doesn't have to be pressing, but just so that I have my hand. And I'm also trying to keep my fingers closed. Yeah. Elbows coming out rather than closing in. Okay, so you can keep it out a little. Shoulders soft. So see if you can really get in touch with that part of the breath. Let's breathe out together. Breathing in and out. In out. In. Try not to lift the shoulders up, just let the breath come into the upper chest. Don't hunch the shoulders up in an effort for you thinking you're getting it up, just allow it in. Breathing in, out, in, out. Last breath in. See if you can fill the upper chest. And out. Drop your hand, keep your eyes closed. If you're sitting in Vajrasana as I am, you might want to relieve your legs. So you can do that on all fours, not just by bashing the legs out. Or you might want to stretch, but be gentle because you know they've been in flexion, your knees have been in flexion for a long time. So I think the nice thing to do is just to rotate the ankles a little bit. One side, other side. Just a nice stretch. Oh, good. That's good. And as I say, if you're sitting, it can be quite nice to come up and down. Don't stay sitting the whole time. Just change the energy, refresh yourself. You know, stretch up, stretch to the side. Especially if you're going to make it a daily practice, maybe in between, lower, mid, upper, you can do a little bit of stretching, particularly side body, so that the ribs have some space. Yeah, so the so we're on the upper chest, okay, we're still on the upper chest, but as opposed to putting the hands under the armpits, which can be difficult and awkward, and also we don't want to disturb anything in the lymphatic gland area, we can put the hands just down on the creases of our hips with the fingers pointing in, and that creates space under the armpits. If you notice, again the fingers are together, but notice how it allows the elbows to splay out and it's quite comfortable and allows a lot of space in the armpits. So I want you to bring your attention to that area around the armpits as you breathe in for the upper side breath, okay? So close your eyes. Breathe out together. Breathe into those armpits. Breathe in. and out. In. Thinking of the space expanding just around the armpits, and out. Ribs meeting the armpits if you like, breathing in. Blood coming straight up from this point, into the head, the air, into the face, the neck, the head, breathing in. And out. 2 more rounds, soften the shoulders please, long spine, in. Out. Last round, big breath into the top. And out. And release. And again, take your recovery posture if you need one. The more you practice, the less recovery you'll need. It can be quite tiring to get the full lungs, a full lung of air, you know, if you, full lungs full of air. Because, you know, maybe you're not used to it, you know, you're not used to it. So you can think, whew, I'm exhausted now. But not for long, it energizes you. I feel quite energized by the practice. So the back body for the upper. Now this can be tricky for some people because maybe they've got shoulder problems. It can be really beneficial for the neck to do this practice though. So bringing the arms up and back. I mean, you know, they only go as far back as they can. You can feel the stretch here. Yeah, feel it here. But if that's not possible, it might be possible with one arm for you, where you just get to put one hand there, so your head, you know, your mind, your thought process can link with that hand. Okay, if you can do 2, do 2. Okay, close your eyes. Breathe in, out first of all. Breathe in. Out. Not as easy to notice here, so don't worry if you don't notice anything. Just bring the mind where the fingers are. Breathing in. Out. In. Out. You can reduce, you know, put one arm down if you need to. Breathing in. Out. Last 2 rounds, breathing in. Just use the arms and the hands to bring the breath into that part with your mind. Breathing in. And out. And you can release the arms. Maybe you need to just do some shoulder rolls, forward and back. Maybe we just need to make sure the neck feels safe. Breathe in, look right. Breathe out, look left. Let's do that twice more. Breathing in, look right. Breathing out, look left. Breathe in, bring the face forward, drop the chin. Another in-breath, taking the head around, just slowly with the breath. Just very, very slowly and mindfully, going in one direction. 3 rounds in one direction. Letting the head, the weight, take you around, don't push it. The other direction, breathing in. Noticing any crunching. Just opening up of the cervical spine, but be careful and gentle. Don't swing the head around in any fast way. And come back to center when you're ready and open your eyes. So we've done the 3-part breath. We've done the lower. Okay, it's the Vibhagha Pranayama, the whole practice. We will learn the whole breath using lower, mid and upper. We will learn that, but we need to get the foundations right. So the lower lobes are the Adhyam Pranayama, and we did front, side and back. We did the Madhyam Pranayama for the mid chest, okay? We use this gesture, side and back, and then we did the upper, okay? That is the Adhyam Pranayama. We did front, side and back, okay? So I want you to take a rest because it can be quite challenging to do the breath work. We are still going to do some breath work, but I would like you to lie down in Shavasana. Please, we haven't done any actual physical work, so you may be cool, you may not feel warm, so make sure you have a blanket and you have a pillow if you need it, and lie down in Shavasana. I'm just going to guide you through some work. Just checking the time. Please excuse me looking at my phone. And just allow the body to feel really heavy and supported on the floor. You can either have your knees bent and the feet flat on the floor, or your whole leg stretching out in front of you, flat on the floor. Hips are heavy, limbs are heavy, sinking down, heavier than usual. Let them completely sink down. Shoulders are engaged, pelvis is engaged. Let the curve of the spines be natural to your body. Don't have to press the spine into the earth, just allow it to be natural. Arms are long and rolling away from the body, palms can be up, neck is long, skull is completely supported by the floor. Closing the eyes, allowing the skin to feel smooth, not taut, not tense. No gripping around the eye sockets, no gripping around the temples, the jaw, the tongue, the lips. Allow everything to be smooth and soft. Bring your mind's eye to your lungs, to your breath. Notice where you feel the breath entering into the lungs. Don't make a conscious decision for it to enter in any specific way. Just notice where it does enter. Don't need to give it a command, don't need to use a gesture now. Let that all disappear. Just notice where the breath enters your body. Once it comes into the nostrils, the center of the nostrils, that cool air warming up as it goes into the system, into the body, where do you feel it? Where do you feel it leave? Just noticing the rise and fall of your natural breath for a few moments. Noticing, is there a bit more space? Is there a bit more freedom? Do you feel the cool air in the lungs where normally you don't notice? Maybe you don't. If it's a totally new practice to you, it may feel completely different, or it may not feel any different. Just registering and witnessing what is actually happening in your experience. Now let go of any witnessing. Let go of any practice. Just allow yourself to relax for a few minutes in your Shavasana. yourself to let go. You won't fall off the edge of the earth if you let go. Wherever you are in your breath cycle, please take a deep inhale and a full body stretch. Arms going behind, feet out in front. Inhale here. Exhale, please stretch the feet away from the fingertips. One more time, inhale. Exhale, press the feet away from the fingertips. Please inhale. Exhale, draw the knees up to the chest. Maybe give yourself a little hug with the hands around the knees, around the shins. Rocking side to side, front and back, however you feel you need to move. Rotating arms, maybe twiddling and fiddling fingers and toes to get some movement in there, slowly coming to life. Come over either onto the right side or left side of your body for a few more moments. And when you are ready and you feel comfortable, keeping your eyes closed, please come into a seated position so we can seal the practice and close our session. Please rub your hands together, create some warmth. Really nice bit of warmth, the energy of your own hands, and just squeeze along your shoulders, along your arms. Just give yourself a nice squeeze. Some TLC, and again, along the arms. And rub your hands together for one last time. Create some lovely heat. And just place the palms over your face, the fingertips gently resting on the eyelids. And just breathing in the warmth of your own energy. And draw the hands down. Press your palms together. Bow your hands to your fingers in reverence of the practice and in honor of your own practice with me today. Thank you for practicing with me. You need an attitude of patience when you're learning to practice deep, slow, mindful breathing. It takes time, and the changes may not be immediately apparent. But it's also a practice that helps to get you into a really nice space for meditation